This video will show you how easy this tool can be used to take off the baseboard. This baseboard, that's an old baseboard, and I would take it off without any issues if this baseboard wouldn't be installed in between the new hardwood floor and the wall. So when they installed the hardwood floor, they didn't take the baseboard, and it's impossible to take it off. And see how this tool would work. Now we need to change the tool, I guess. To change it, we need to take the battery off. Okay. We'll cut it from the sides. Okay. Let's see. What we need to do, we need to cut a little more deep, and the job is done. This tool is amazing.
So what we're looking at here is the KIMO oscillating tool, and this is a tool that you use when you need to get into tight spaces or spaces where another saw will not fit. It's also good for sanding and other uses. So let's look at what comes in the bag. We've got a 20-volt battery pack and its charger. I've pre-charged this battery so that we can show off the tool. Here's the oscillating tool itself. You can see it's got variable speed settings and you know, an on-off switch. And here is a little baggie of different tools that you can attach to the end of the oscillating tool. Today we're just going to be using the saw. You've got a little additional handle that you can use to get more control of the unit, so you can get both hands on it. And we've got a manual as well. Alright, now I've put one of the saw blades on the oscillating tool, and I'm going to go ahead and saw this piece of molding off of the wall. And I've got my safety equipment on, my protection and so forth, so I'm just gonna go ahead and do this. Alright, well, as you can see, it made a nice clean cut. I was able to cut right on that line, and I'm very happy with the result of this.
About an inch into the door jamb with a quarter inch chisel, and then I'm going to oscillate the door jamb about a quarter inch into the marking that I have here, so I could put on the door lock for the deadbolt. And then I'm gonna come back with the quarter inch chisel and just start to chisel the extra wood out. It does do a pretty good job, the oscillating tool. One of the best that I've encountered.
My review of this oscillating tool is I've had it for 6 months. I wanted to get a good use out of it before I let anybody know how it worked. I was wary of getting a brand I didn't know about. Used to Milwaukee, DeWalt, Porter Cable, and great deal on the price. The nicest feature is the charging and the battery. When it's been sitting for a while, on my older tools, I gotta pull the trigger and it's low, or maybe it's only half. I don't got a full charge. But this one, just press the button, full charge. If not, plug it in. I can let it sit in the charger. The charger automatically shuts off and doesn't burn out the battery. And you know, my old tools. This is a feature that, you know, I'll be looking for as I upgrade my tools. So work-wise, the nicest thing, I've got a really old house, plaster and lath. I use the tile tool to get through the plaster, and it works fantastic. Pop in your standard you know, wood or whatever. The only trick for that with plaster and lath is making sure you keep that lath, that wood, still. Otherwise, the slight vibration that this tool works will transfer that to the lath and it won't cut anything. Keep your lath still. This thing just plows through that old wood. Works great. Beautiful tool.
Okay, so this is the KIMO oscillating saw multi-tool. I got this for a flooring project, and it way exceeded my expectations. You can just quick change the blade like this. It just comes out, and then you put it back in. It's got a little thing over here and comes with an attachment for a handle, which is really useful. Got that light that comes on. I haven't actually used it, it's been daylight, but I imagine in tight spots that'd be good. And then you can adjust the rate here, which can be useful if you're cutting through. Another thing I really like, on the battery pack, you actually get an indicator of how much charge is left, and that's nice. No, but it's real quality. If you're doing a flooring project, you definitely need one of these. Just the things that it comes into. Oh, and the other thing I like, you can kind of put this over at an angle, and I like to use the right angle a lot, but you can use whatever angle works, and you have a little more control going down into it. So the KIMO oscillating saw, definitely recommend it if you have any sort of project around the house, but especially if you're doing a flooring project.
So I got this over 2 weeks ago, and so far I've used it to switch on my front door, and some of the tools that included that were very useful with this one, but the only downside is that it's kind of this diamond grit. It goes away pretty quickly. One side is completely smooth after just a few minutes. That's probably just how this one is made. So the tool itself is very solid. There are blades I haven't used yet. This one I used to make the lock holes just a little bit bigger so it'll fit, and I haven't used any of these yet. Sanding, haven't got to that yet, but this is for wireless lithium. It's a pretty good value for the price. Here's the rest of the tool. I haven't used it yet, but I'm sure I'll come up with something in the future.
Last week, I received my KIMO oscillating tool, 20-volt lithium ion, through Amazon. I had to replace a cheapie that was from Harbor Freight that literally burned up in my hands as I was sanding the mill marks off of our new deck. I was pleasantly surprised with all the stuff that came in the package for the KIMO. It came with all the tools that I'm showing you right here. It seems to be a great price. I compared it with some of the other major brands, and bang for your buck. You really can't beat this. I was able to finish some of the work that I did on the deck as far as getting rid of the mill marks, and it did a wonderful job with very little effort. So I'm really pleased with the KIMO and would certainly investigate buying some of their other tools. The batteries are interchangeable.
Okay, so my father and I just bought this KIMO multi-tool. Came with a nice bag, a few accessories. We're about to try out the metal cutter on this piece of metal right here. It's already plastered down here. And all right, here we go. clean that cut is.
That's the clean cut. And here we go. The nice little line. Took a little while to do it, but it did a good job. It was meant for what it meant to do.
All right. So that's the KIMO multi-tool. Comes with a bag, accessories, and we just use the metal gear.
Great tool.
Hello, do-it-yourselfers. Just wanted to let you know of something I just bought on Amazon. I needed to cut out some wallboard for some lights and cut a hole, which was not an easy process because I keep having to chew into it, and I figured I'm not going to keep doing that for some of the other projects. So I also have to cut off this wall, so I decided I was going to go and see if I can find an oscillating tool, and I did find one, KIMO. I think it's a great product. I've been using it for a little bit. It comes with a battery. It comes with a charger, which is all great. Plus, it comes with additional tools. There's a carbide tip, sanding block and holder, sanding pads, different size tool pits, and even a scraper. I'm sure it will come in handy for some other project. I would definitely give this a try. I've been to Lowe's and Home Depot, which both places I frequent quite a bit, looking at some of these oscillating tools, and I find this to be the best because it comes along with extra parts and you're ready to go from day one, and also I think is a lot cheaper. So give it a try, take a look at it. I give it a 4-star rating. Bye.
Hi, here's the review of the oscillating tool. As most other reviews have said, this is a great tool. I'm only going to focus on one particular area of it that you might be confused about, and that is in the grout removal tool and the scraper. You may look at those and wonder how in the heck you're going to put these things on, especially when you compare how they look when you get them to what they show in the manual. You're going to think that maybe you got the wrong type of piece, but you actually didn't. So here's the tip on how to actually use these. There's nothing wrong with anything. Basically, unlock it like you would for any other tool, but this little nut piece screws off. You may have to use a wrench or something to get it off the first time because it's on there pretty hard, but once you do, then you can put the piece on, screw it back on, and you're on. So despite the way the manual makes these pieces look, you didn't get anything wrong. They actually fit. You don't need to call, you don't need to return anything. You're actually good to go.
Fast and simple.
This is my review of the KIMO 20V Max oscillating tool I bought 2 weeks ago on Amazon. I used for a removal of a backsplash in my kitchen that I was renovating. It was a great product, great tool, worked flawlessly. Cut through the tile and sheetrock to remove it. Took some effort, but it wasn't bad. It enabled me to cut it out without damaging my cabinets or places I didn't want damaged. So I would recommend the KIMO 20V Max lithium oscillating tool for any home or even maybe commercial use. It's a great product. Thank you. There's the KIMO oscillating tool, and look how well this thing works. So I've got a hole in the ceiling that I'm trying to cut it out, so put a
another piece of sheetrock, and here it goes.
This little saw, the KIMO oscillating saw. Try and do this one-handed while filming. As you can see, it did a wonderful job.
Are you ready?
Yep.
What's wrong?
Nothing.
I didn't. See?
Just received my KIMO oscillating multi-tool. Got it through Amazon. It came packed in 2 boxes. Very nice, very secure. And then there's the tool, the accessories, the handle, the nice instruction book. I've already looked through it. Battery charger and the battery. And this nice toolbox. Very good.
KIMO came in that bag. The KIMO, the handle, charger. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different accessories. And it comes with 1 battery. Used it on my stairs. I thought the price was reasonable and it worked out great.
The KIMO multifunction tool is the best tool I have ever used in my 72 years. I can't believe I went so long without having one. It's lightweight, it's strong, durable, and works extremely fast. It does things I've never been able to do before. I highly recommend it and hope anybody that needs this kind of tool will try the KIMO. It is excellent.
Okay, so I got my new KIMO multi-tool here, and I have a project coming up that's going to require me to be cutting some nails, so let's see how it does.